I tested the newest agent Clove and I'm really impressed. In this video, I'm gonna break down all the utility pieces, how they work, what are the secret stats that are hidden in the game and you have no information about them, and some interactions that you might find interesting, specifically also when you play the agent yourself. So, welcome to Lotus Valorant Laboratory, and I hope you're gonna enjoy this episode because this is brand new content. First utility is Pickme Up. For only 100 credits, you can have one per round. Activate to absorb the life force of a fallen enemy that clove damage or killed, gaining haste and temporary health. So this works exactly like a Reyna kill essentially. You have a specific amount of time to activate it after getting a kill, right? Or a assist as well, so that's very important. You need to damage to get assist as well, and it heals you, but it's not exactly the same way as a Reyna. For example, when Reyna is at 20 HP and she will heal, she gets to 120 if she healed fully, and then after the timer expires, she is back to 100. In case of Clove, she actually will get back to the 20 HP because the 100 is a temporary heal. So it's a little bit different. You can get to 150 with it, but you're still gonna go back to the initial HP that you had. What is very important though is the fact though that you are gaining haste. Haste is the movement boost that, for example, Brimstone's Steam Beacon applies to you. So it's the same kind of boost. We tested it out, but it significantly speeds up you by 15%, which makes you very, very mobile and allows you to gain timings or to essentially just go into cover faster than typically you would be otherwise, right? So Pickme Up is a very nice motivation for you to get into gunfights as this agent. Now, second piece of utility is called Medal. So Medal is a grenade that you chuck it with the left click, there's no right click, it explodes and gives DK. The DK is 90, which is insane. That brings you down, if you have small shield, brings you down to one bullet to get a kill on everyone with a Vandal or with a Phantom, which is nuts, right? And you combine that with any other pieces of damaging utility and it completely hard clears every corner or instantly kills someone in that corner. Like when you think about it, grenade from Race, grenade from Clove, it's 145 damage in a corner because it's 55 and 90. It's absolutely bonkers, right? So that's very, very powerful utility, but it has its downsides. So one, you can only use it as a left click, and two, it has limited range and you cannot do lineups with it because what it does, it has a 30-meter range. You chuck it, it goes 30 meters, then it explodes, and that's it. You're not able to do a lineup because it will just explode mid-air. So that's essentially a way of balancing this utility, because if you were able to do lineups with this would break the game. You would essentially combo that with Shock Darts, you would combo that with Sova Ult, with anything that deals damage. You will be able to do incredible amount of pressure on specific points of the map, and that will absolutely break the game. So very nice heads up balancing from Riot here to not have to hotfix that, essentially, right? So this has also another key ability built in it. It bounces once, but only if it's not ground. If you chuck it on the ground, it sticks to it and explodes, right? If you chuck it on the wall or anything that is not the ground, it will explode after the bounce, but it's always the same timing and it's always the same range. So the bounce doesn't really change anything, just changes the direction, of course, but it doesn't change the duration of it or the explosion, like activation and so on. Now also remember, this hits your teammates, so be very aware, but it doesn't hit through the wall. But now let's talk about why this agent is so good, and that's Ruse. Ruse are the smokes of the agent. They are lasting 14.75 seconds. There are 150 credits, and you can use them after your death. And they're on a 30 seconds cooldown. So essentially, if you default on any map, you always start the round by using one smoke. I mean, not always, but like 95% of the rounds, you're gonna start by using a smoke. It lasts almost 15 seconds. You get one back in 30 seconds. Right? So you're gonna have it always on, essentially, right? And you can still use them after you die. But what is very important is that when you die, you're gonna retain the same range, right? So when I'm gonna do this here, I'm gonna just jump to my def. And now I'm gonna be able to use my smokes in this small menu over here on the left side. As you can see, there's a range on the minimap as well, and I'm gonna be able to smoke while being dead. They also changed the color, they are like more purple, and they are still on a cooldown, right? So depending on where you die, you might also direct the action towards specific regions, because if you, for example, go towards B and you do a full execute, even if you die first, you can still smoke B, but you're not able to smoke A because it's like too far away. It really depends on how the map is being built as well, right? It's gonna be interesting for Fracture, for example, where what if you just die in spawn, right? Like, what's your range then? But it's very interesting and it's very powerful because of this. There's only one downside. If you play ranked, you essentially are not able to go AFK if you die. You need to be paying attention to the game, because you might still do a lot of impact if you understand how to play smokes in your ranked games, right? Because if I die on mid like this, for example, I am still able to like do fake pressure on specific positions on the map, right? I'm gonna be able to put like the smoke, the aggressive attacking smoke on B to fake that we're gonna be pushing out of B main, denying formations. Like, all of that is something that I'm gonna be able to do after I'm dying. So someone with good smoke knowledge will still be incredibly useful with this agent in every round, essentially, even when your team is going to a different direction than where you died. So, and again, you will get as many smokes as you will use, essentially, because you get every 30 seconds you get one back, right? So incredibly powerful utility. And just like, to just add on top of it, the smokes are empty inside, just like Omen's smokes, right? So bear that in mind. But in general, I like it a lot. I feel like I'm gonna be playing Clove a lot in ranked because of everything that I just said. And now when it comes to the ultimate, not dead yet, it's only 7 orbs, by the way, which is very interesting. You have a very limited window to activate the ult to res yourself, because when you die, you can just res yourself, right? But you have 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds window to activate it and go back to life. When you do that, you're gonna go into a dismiss form, kind of like Reyna, where you're not able to be damaged, but you can cancel the exit early, right? And fight back. But then you have a limited time to essentially get an assist on someone with damage, or you get a kill to be still on the battlefield. Like, combining that with the fact that you have the ruse that you can use after dying, the pick me up to heal, it's like, and the medal to also just push the damage envelope for the team is incredibly powerful. So, what's my prediction and my verdict? I feel like she's gonna be nuts. She's gonna be dominating the pick rates in ranked because of how useful she can be to the team, and how typically now in ranked, support players like myself, or people who really love playing support agents, don't play support agents because they feel they don't have enough agency in the game. When they do that, they don't have enough utility to help themselves in the game, and they're just enabling other players who are just refusing to use it, you know, to refuse to use that help that you give them. So you don't want to play initiator, you don't want to play controller, because you feel like you're not getting there, you know. And like with Clove, I feel like you're gonna have that impression that you are able to have enough impact as yourself while also playing the support role. And that's, for example, for me, a game changer. And now I'm looking very forward to Act 2 when Clove is gonna get released. I'm gonna able to just chuck in install Clove in ranked, and no one will even like bat an eye, because, oh wow, it's a controller, you just locked it in. Yeah, that's great, you know. But there's a downside. I think that this design that the agent has, which is enabling essentially kind of Reyna-esque type of agent, but with smokes into the game, will absolutely dominate the pick rate, and will not see Astra, Brimstone, and probably way less Omen as well. Omen probably still the least, because he is a very aggressive one, has paranoia, is incredibly powerful, right? And the TPs are able to like change the verticality of the map, which is incredibly useful, right? So Omen is probably going to get affected the least, but Brimstone and Astra pick rates are going to probably plummet. And I wouldn't like that, that's not going to be surprising. Because as I said, players in rank want to feel useful. And if you are able to get into more game fights, you're going to feel more useful, right? At the pro level, I feel like she might not get that much play, you know, as you would think, because of the fact that, for example, let's think about Bind. On Bind, you play in normal compositions, or like the most common compositions are Brimstone and a Viper. And they kind of work together because not only you build a composition that has incredible amount of smokes, right? There are like sustained smokes as well from Viper and more execute heavy smokes from the Brimstone. You get a lot of utility during the executes or in post plans to check corners. 3 mollies is nothing to scoff at, and most teams will actually use those mollies during the execute to make sure that you just get to the side first. It's not even about the post plant. With Clove, if you replace Brimstone with Clove, you can't really do that anymore. Suddenly you have an agent that is just about more pew-pewing than anything else. And even though with the medal, with the grenade equipped, you can't do that lineup. So you're going to have to just throw it into positions that you kind of see already. And that's a big problem, right? So at a pro level, I feel like she's not going to be that picked that often because of the utility that we already kind of need at the pro level. And if, for example, we play Ascent and would like to replace Omen, Omen's Paranoia is incredibly powerful when it comes to taking space on B main or A main, right? For the Jenny, for example. And if you don't have that, then an Initiator has to take over that role. So you're going to have to play, for example, Fade. Or you're going to have to play additional flashes on other agents, so you might swap your duelists and so on. So you have to like shift the responsibilities because of your controller agent that doesn't have the utility that was needed in the previous iteration of the compositions. So it's gonna be an interesting puzzle, and I feel like it's more of a design for the ranked players than the pro players, but that's also fine, because I feel like we kind of needed this kind of agent for ranked. I would not be surprised if she's gonna get nerfed in the future. There might be some changes, small changes, like I feel like the DK probably is gonna get nerfed to 75 or something like that instead of 90 on the grenade. Maybe there will be a timer on the smokes after you die, because right now you just can stay active the entire round, which is kind of insane, right? Or maybe they will limit the range of it or something, but I would not be surprised if she's gonna be nerfed in the future. She's an incredibly powerful agent, and I'm really excited to try her out in ranked when she's gonna be released on 30th of April, if I remember correctly. Now, what's your impression? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about the utility? What will you play Clove yourself? And if you have any questions that I maybe didn't answer in the video, also feel free to ask me anything about Clove. I'll try to give you an explanation of everything about this agent. Thanks for watching. Leave a sub and like if you like it. This is a completely new channel, so that will help me immensely. Bye bye.